Well, good evening, everyone, or good morning if you're watching this in Europe or the Far East. And welcome to another webinar on the U.S. contingent heading over to Poland next summer. Uh, we are very excited, putting in a lot of time and effort, and really looking forward uh, to the World Jamboree. We have the national coming up in less than 2 months, and then less than 14 months we'll be over in Poland. So next slide. Yep, there's our great our logo. So here's the agenda for the session. So the welcome, the spirit of bravely. We talk about programming highlights while we're over there, and also talking about what's happening next. A lot is going to be happening during the month of June and early July. We'll be forming the units, selecting unit leaders, and also the IST assignment catalog. It's out, and so we'll be talking about how that's going to work, that process for selecting your positions or your role while you're over there. Talk about meeting up at the National Jamboree, the payment schedule, scholarships. I update on our itinerary for our pre-tour and the Jamboree itself, and then talking about safety. And then we'll be going into a Q&A at the end.
Yeah, and let's everybody, if you have questions, start
Oh,
adding
thank
them
you.
into the Q&A section.
Yeah, thank you all. Yeah, so we will be yeah, type your questions in, and after we get through the whole slide deck, then we'll be able to answer them as we did on the first call. And we are recording this as well. We'll be posting it. So the this theme for 2027 is the spirit of bravely, and you can see some scouts that were over in Korea with us back in 2023. Next slide. Everything you do, do it bravely. As you can see behind me, we've got the bravely flag that picked up over in Poland at they had a contingent meeting. Well, Greg and I were over there last September, and Ron and Shimon and I will be over there this July. Uh, so the dates down there, it's going to be in Gdansk, Poland, which is up on the Baltic Sea, up in the northern end of the country. And as I mentioned, the theme is bravely. So my name is Bill McKinney, head of contingent. I've been getting emails from a lot of people around the country and around the world. Because of course, there are U.S. Scouting America that are over in Europe and Africa and the Far East that will also be joining us in Poland. From Massachusetts. Greg Szensky, our finance lead, is from New York. Shimon Lasny, our communications lead, is from Georgia. Ron Ratto, again, an easier name. Logistics registration is from California. And Ella Ogier, who put this all together, our commissioner lead and project manager, and doing an incredible amount of work for us. So thank you, Ella. She is from Wisconsin. So that's the executive team, and we have some other members of the team as well who've been helping out. So Ella, it's all yours.
All right. If you have been in previous webinars, we have talked about some programming highlights. Those recordings are available, but today we're going to share a couple of new ones. This is the logo, the official logo for the Jamboree. It's a combination of two scout signs, go forward and overcome obstacles. And when they're combined, it is be bravely with a circle around it that shows unity. So you'll see this logo in lots of places, including the swag when you get it from the US. Also, they have introduced 10 companions, and these companions bring a lot of different ideas and share with us about how we can enjoy the Jamboree better. And so here are the 10 different companions, and you can see their main focus from overcoming obstacles to being brave, discovering new cultures. But these represent the things that our young scouts will be learning as they experience the Jamboree. All right, let's talk about what's happening next. And so in this particular case, I have to say, I like this graphic a lot. And you'll notice that Gdansk, Poland is only 800 meters away from Gilwell Park, which is where we started scouting. So pretty cool. All right, so in June, we're going to start the process to form the units and to form or to select the unit leaders. And they will be going on at the same time because in the end, all of that needs to sync. But we've got a lot of great inputs. So if you Remember, you've set in applications, you've filled out surveys. We look at your geographic location, and all of that information is put together so we can best form the units and assign unit leaders that would be the best fit for those units. And so we will have 36 youth and 4 leaders per unit. And the unit leaders will be announced on our social media and website. So if you're not on Facebook or the website, stay tuned. We'll have the QR codes for those in a little bit. And then the youth participants should expect to get an email that will welcome them to the unit. So that's how it will be revealed what unit they'll be with and who their leaders are. And just a little tidbit. So one of the fun things about doing scouting in other countries is learning ways that they do things differently. And so at the World Jamboree, we're going to have some different terms than we use here in Scouting America. For example, we may say a unit leader, or we may say scoutmaster or crew advisor, but at the World Scout Jamboree, they use the term adult patrol leader. Now, they may use that term, and you should be familiar with it, but we'll still organize our units with one unit leader and 3 assistants. All right, and for those of you here that are IST, so first of all, thank you very much for volunteering to serve so that the youth can have an incredible Jamboree experience. And you should have already received your job catalog. If you haven't already, open it up, do some research, find the positions, not just one, but find the positions that best fit your experience. And you should have received that in the email, but if not, there is the QR code that you, not the QR code, sorry, the URL that you can use to get to the job catalog. The registration will be happening just around the corner here in June and July. If you are current with your fees, which would be $1,500 for the IST, you'll be getting a login so that you can actually select your particular preferences. And I would encourage you to make sure that you give lots of detail about your experience. That will help the leaders know who is the best fit for that particular position. And you will hear next April, so I know it seems like a long time, but it will be next April that you'll learn about your job assignment. Some may hear sooner if you've been an IST with somebody before, or maybe have an excellent fit. You may hear before April. But whatever or whenever you are notified, please be sure to confirm immediately so that the lead knows that he or she's wow, it's late. Okay. They will know that their team is filling up. Oh, wait, it's a long day. All right. So National Jamboree opportunities. For those of you, I think there's around about 100 of us or so at least who will be at the National Jamboree in about 7 weeks. And while you're there, there is an opportunity to earn this really cool patch. It is a special edition International Spirit Award. There is an official International Spirit Award. This is only for the people at the Jamboree with activities at the Jamboree. And all that information will be on your app. Here are some of the key things that you can do. There will be 2 different meetups. One will be 365 days and counting. So it's a year before we leave for the World Jamboree. That will be on January 23rd from 4 to 5 p.m. Check your app for the details. And then Mr. McKinney and many of the other CMT will be on site on July 30th. And we will have an opportunity to meet up so you can meet other people who will be going to the World Jamboree. They may or may not be in your unit, but that's okay. But you'll still get to meet other people. And I would just encourage you, if you have friends who are still thinking about it, well, first of all, there's only a handful of positions left, but they can still join the wait list. So they can absolutely come and join us for these meetings. And then the other key opportunity is the next day from 8 to 11 a.m., Lord Baden-Powell's great-grandson, David, will be hosting a session for us. Gives him an opportunity for us just to chat about all of his World Scouting experience. And then finally, the last one is that We are encouraging everyone who are going to the World Jamboree to also donate to the World Friendship Fund. All right, Bill, now it's your turn to talk about and share information on the payment and scholarship information.
Thank you, Ella. So the payment schedule is not changed. This is what is out there on our website and has been put out there for quite a while. So the first two payments are due. The third payment will be due September 14th, then January 11th, and then the final payment on March 15th will be when we're able to set that final cost. The biggest thing that is unknown for us is the airfare. That's going to depend obviously on where people are coming from. The airlines do not set the airfare until 11 months out, 11 months out from our return. So since we return on the 9th of August, it'll probably be more the middle of September before we're even getting a sense of what the airfares will be. Obviously, we're concerned about the high cost of fuel right now. That's making them artificially higher. Hopefully that cost will come down over the next few months. But that is something that we are concerned about. We did set the Jamboree fee as hopefully as high as we thought it could possibly go, and try to build in a little bit of a buffer, and I'm glad we did. The cost, it's a break-even event. So what the cost is to just really cover everything. So we want to make sure that, if it ends up coming a little bit less, we pass the savings on to you. So we are working, as hard as we can with the entire team, to keep that cost down. But the airfare is out of our control, and we won't know that until September. So the payment expectations, like I said, 3,000 so far for participants and 1,500 for IST. The wait list, the IST does have a wait list, and at first we had asked people to just sign up for it. Now we're going to require a deposit because we've been able to move almost everybody off of the wait list since we got some extra spots from Poland, and so that helps. And then when we start the wait list for participants, we'll require the $1,500 deposit. So that as soon as you get accepted, if a spot opens up, we'll be able to move you over. As Ella mentioned, we are down to single digits left for our participants, and then we will make an announcement that we'll be moving to a wait list, and that'll be on our website as well. So if people go sign up, we'll be on the wait list. If we get enough early enough on the wait list that we think that we could form another unit of 36, we would then petition Poland to try to do that. Obviously, earlier is better because as we're going through the month of June and trying to figure out unit formations and where people are going to go geographically, if we were able to add another one, that would be helpful to try to again keep everyone as geographically close as possible. Another question that people had was about the refund. So again, we are trying to keep any financial issues as low as possible, including refunds. So we started off and have kept that $200 non-refundable deposit as low as we can for as long as we can. That's going to increase to $300 on June 15th, which we will, again, make notification to everybody that it's going to increase to 300. And then down below, we have subject to change, and that's, the September 1st to December 31st. We'd love to be able to keep it at the 750 as a non-refundable. And then after January 1st, everything would be non-refundable unless we're able to get a replacement. So if we have people on the wait list and somebody has to back out and we can get somebody else to fill that slot, that means more of a refund back. But again, that's only if we're able to get someone to fill it. So obviously, as it gets closer to the Jamboree itself, the chances of any kind of refund lessen because all the costs have been incurred. Tickets would have been purchased, and like I said, if we get a replacement, that will really help run. Go ahead.
Yeah, the other piece too is the person doesn't necessarily have to be on the wait list. If you have to drop for whatever reason, if you can recruit somebody to take your place, that is also acceptable.
Yes, thank you, Ron. So it's like I said, we're doing everything we can. We understand the situations and circumstances may change between now and Poland. We hope they don't. We hope that everyone who's signed up, is able to go. But we do want to, be honest and let you know up front that the non-refundable will be increasing to $300 on June 15th. And then beyond that, like I said, we'll be able to get back as much as we can. But there are costs that we've already incurred that we can't. So at no point will it go below the 300 that will be coming up on June 15th. Yes. So obviously, how do you get up to that $6,700 amount? So if you think about it on a weekly basis, if you're starting now, you have to earn about $120 a week. And obviously, if you're, 15 about to turn 16, or 16 now, and able to get a job during the school year for a few hours a week, or, work during the summer, during the school breaks, if you could earn $120 a week, either through Scout Unit fundraisers, if it's you and others from your unit, your home unit that are going, that helps to, kind of have a buddy group that would be out fundraising, restaurant nights and different things like that, getting a part-time job spring or fall, or, if you're in the northern part of the US, winter, a lot of shoveling is needed, mowing the lawn, all sorts of different things. So we've been putting up, on our website, how other people have been able to do some fundraising. Also, another thing would be to ask local organizations in your community to support you, whether it's the Rotary or the Kiwanis or the VFW or the American Legion. These are organizations that often sponsor Scout units, and so they have a vested interest in making sure that as many scouts as possible are able to go. These organizations typically offer college scholarships, so they might be amenable to offering a partial scholarship for a World Jamboree, because it furthers their mission of getting a global perspective on things and helping the youth succeed. And like I said, it's unfortunately it's a cost that's prohibitive for a lot of people. So we're trying to come up with other ways to be able to help scouts be able to go. Next slide. So another way too is we've been able to raise some funds for scholarships, not a lot of money, and we're hopeful that we'll be able to continue that. So within the next week, we should have the application set. We'll send an email out with the link for how to apply for the scholarship. The first one would be due by the end of June, and we'll see how much the ask is for, and see how much we've been able to raise, and then notify on September 1st, which would be before the third payment is due. And then, if we have any money or continue to do some fundraising, we would add a second round. And that could be, it could be a lot of scouts at the National Jamboree that, find out about, oh, I didn't know there was a World Jamboree. Like, I'm having a great time down in West Virginia. I want to do something even better next summer. So, that may end up with some later signups. Again, if we have, depending on the wait list situation, you might be some opportunity there. Or again, if the wait list is long enough to be able to, try to get another unit. So it's important to note that this is a complete need-based. It's not, hey, let me apply because I'd love to, save some money on the costs. This is, those who really, really could not otherwise afford to be able to go. And, if we are able to award any, it typically would be up to half of the cost. So, like I said, check that out when it comes out, but please, if you don't need it, please don't apply, because we do want to save the funds for those that really do.
Yeah. And also, if you are following us on our website or social media, the link to the application will be available out there also.
Yeah, I'm going to use this moment to remind everybody to check their spam, because we have a lot of emails that are not being delivered, either because they go to spam or their service provider is blocking them. And we have issues with Apple. Apple does not like our emails, so they bounce. So if you have an iCloudme.com or Mac.com, those typically bounce. So you might want to, we will be posting them on the Facebook page. So please make sure that you join the Facebook, our Contingent Facebook page, and we will be posting there that the email has been sent. And then after, if you have not gotten it, you can contact contact me, USA Poland 2027 comms, COMS @gmail.com. And I'll try to resend it individually.
Okay.
Thank you. And also to that, before you go into the next thing, Ella, sorry. If there are people on the call, who work for companies that would be willing to make donations or sponsorships or people who may have some money to be able to help others to go, we do have that donation page set with a link to be able to make the payment or to be able to send in a check. Because, like I said, we really do want to be able to open this up to as many scouts as possible because it is a life-changing event. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to do this one again. Okay.
Thank you.
So, our itinerary, the first date, the departure from the U.S., is still being confirmed based on availability of different hub cities. So, just kind of plan that it may be July 24th, but it could be plus or minus a date. We will be doing our pre-tour in Poland, the 25th through the 29th. And then on that 29th, we'll arrive at the World Jamboree site with the Jamboree starting the very next day through August the 8th. And then we'll be returning from Poland the morning of the 9th, which also means we'll be arriving back in the States also in probably morning or early afternoon of the 9th. And that date sometimes does raise a question because there are school districts that start before that date. And we've had much success in the past World Jamborees. Basically, if the youth will send a letter and share their registration information with the principal or appropriate person within your school, and most schools will go ahead and approve that. And if they do, I would encourage you as the youth to reach out to all of your teachers and make sure that you're proactively trying to complete assignments ahead of time, and just be sure that you're communicating with them as often and frequently as needed, and so that the teachers are aware of what's going on. And people do consider the World Jamboree, by the way, as a wonderful cultural and educational opportunity. So that may be a phrase you might want to use. If the principal does not approve or the person does not approve, you can send an email to usapoland2027@gmail.com, and we can share a form letter from Scouting America that can explain the situation, and hopefully that will help the principal choose to approve your absence. All right, current participation status. So we've talked about a handful of times. I'm sorry, a handful of positions still available for participants. So when those are filled, the 504 slots, we will then flip over to a wait list. And there will be, for people on the wait list, a $1,500 deposit, and that will hold your spot. And if somebody, for some reason, can't go, then you would be notified and have the opportunity to move up. We are encouraging everybody to get registered. If you have a friend who's on the fence and hasn't clicked on that link yet, encourage them to do that before the 31st with the opportunity to get the best geographic assignment so that you're close together. And if you are already registered, make sure that you are making regular payments or catching up with the $3,000 balance at this time, and wait for that unit assignment. We're hoping it will be late June, early July, that you will be getting that special email from your new Scoutmaster or crew advisor, unit leader. In fact, for unit leaders, we are accepting applications through the 31st. And I'm very grateful that we've had many people apply for that. It's a big commitment above and beyond your normal scouting opportunities that you already are doing. And this would allow you to be considered for the June process that we're going to be selecting the leaders. And finally, IST, for those who are here, that will enable this wonderful jamboree to actually happen. As a small city of 45,000 people stand up, we had a wait list. We were able to get an additional 250 positions. No,
No,
20,
25.
25.
Yep.
Wow, that decimal point was way off. Sorry. 25 positions more. So many people were moved off the roster. As unit leaders are assigned and moved off of the IST list, we'll have a few more openings. So if you haven't registered and you're really interested in being there to help support the Jamboree, I would encourage you to get signed up like ASAP. So you have an opportunity to be near the top of that IST list. And we talked a little bit earlier about the selection process, so that'll be coming up soon. If you're registered and current with your fees, then that will enable you to get registered for the opportunities that you would like to do. All right, now, Bill, is your turn.
Thank you. So, as we mentioned, throughout these calls, that our top priority is the safety of all participants, the youth and adults in IST. So we're constantly working, with contact with the State Department and security experts. There are medical facilities, as you can imagine, a city of 46,000, needs medical facilities. The Jamboree planning team has been working very closely with the Polish federal government, their local government, the military, the police. The U.S. has military presence in Poland, and it's one of our NATO allies. When I was over there with Greg last September, we met with the U.S. Embassy. We'll be setting up another meeting when we go back in July of this year, and also next year. I met with the Polish Embassy when I was down in D.C. last month. So we were working very closely with everybody to make this a safe event. As I mentioned, we're right outside of the city of Gdansk. So, we're there, and it's a very big size city. So there's a lot of good medical facilities right there as well. And there's mandatory training for all of the adults to make sure that, it is a safe and respectful environment for everybody. Next slide, please. So, as I said, I was at the U.S. Embassy in Washington, the Polish Embassy in Washington. And for those who are in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, we will be setting up a meeting to be able to go to that embassy and get more of the history and culture of Poland. So that'll be good. The Jamboree planning team, when we're over there in July, which is why we're going to miss most of the National Jamboree because we have to be at a contingent meeting. So we'll get updates on where they are in the planning process at the Jamboree site itself. And then, working on the logistics of the tents that we have to purchase and the cots that we have to purchase, and, how we're going to get those over there, because obviously you'll get what you can bring personally, and then we've got to make sure that everything else that we need is over there. So it's a lot of moving parts to this. Next slide. Oh.
All right, the exciting part starts now. So we ask that you bravely ask any of the questions you have and put them in the Q&A, and we are going to moderate that. But before that, I have an important slide with all the QR codes. So I'll leave this up here for just a minute as you're getting questions entered. But you have the contingent website, the mailing list, and the Facebook group. So for those of you who have not yet joined, take a minute to go ahead and scan those.
And I would encourage
the last call.
Yeah, I would encourage everybody to if you want to receive information again, like I mentioned earlier, to join the Facebook group, because this is the place that allows us to quickly post information that was sent in the email, and you get information just in case you didn't receive the email.
All right, as everybody is clicking on the QR codes, what we'll do, we'll start going through the questions and answers. First question, are unit leaders youth or adults? And is there a way to request to be with a specific person in your unit?
So the unit leaders refer to adult unit leaders, so over the age of 18. And there will be youth unit leader positions like senior patrol leader and assistant senior patrol leader and patrol leaders, but we're only talking about the adult leaders that will be going. So again, there's 36 scouts and 4 adults in each unit. I feel like there was a second part to that, but
Is
There was. Is there a way to request to be with a specific person in your unit?
yes, that's something we emailed that out to all the participants to ask, is there anyone that you want to be in the unit with, or any special requests? So, you may have a cousin that lives 2 states over that you want to be in the same unit. Like we need to know that. Could be different last names or whatever. We wouldn't necessarily know that because we try to form everything, geographically as close as possible.
if you didn't get that, if you've got that request and didn't get the survey, send it to usa.cmtduty@gmail.com, and we'll have that in the facts, FAQs rather.
Yeah.
Perfect. Another fun question. Do we get to choose unit mascots like patrols?
Yes.
And if you want some interesting ideas, follow the UK Scouts. They make a big reveal. It's a big deal for them in selecting. But here's a trivia question. Does anybody know the mascot for the World Jamboree? Oh.
All right, I'll
Okay,
check down
I'll
in
let
the Q&A a little bit later. We'll give you a couple
okay.
minutes to this is we'll go to the next one. First, we have dead air here. When is the email that was sent on 5/1/26 with the unit request link due?
Yeah, that was the survey that we sent out,
Yeah.
asking that very question. The very question is, what unit would you like? Do you want to change the unit selection type that you wanted, as well as did you have any special requests?
Right.
And
And
that
the
was
follow-on
sent
question.
that was sent around from the national, correct?
No, we did. There was a national email that went out. That was a couple of weeks ago, but the one that we sent at the beginning of May, because we were planning that at the end of May, that's when we're
Yeah.
going to start forming the units. So we
Yep.
wanted to again get those preferences. So it could
So
be
the answer is the end of May.
yeah.
Okay. And then also, are we having family units, family troops for the World Scout Jamboree?
Yep. So it's either a male unit, female unit, or mixed.
Okay. This is a two-part question. Can a 20-year-old EMT sign up for medical for IST? And
Yes.
then it was provided later on that the license is both valid in Montana and nationally.
Yes, you can request that, but again, if you're going to be working for, you'll be signing up for jobs with Poland, and they will make their selections based on the information that you provide. So there's no guarantee that you'll be on the medical staff, but I would definitely make sure when it's time to apply that you put that information in there and your qualifications.
Okay, perfect. Here's another IST question. Who do we contact if we are IST and haven't received the assignment email?
Yeah, we haven't received that information from Poland yet. As soon as we get it, get that request, we will send all of the names of IST members that are registered and paid up to date, and then they will send you a login link that you will then create a login and then put your preferences for the jobs that you'd like to do.
And Ron, if they didn't
Ron-
get the one with the catalog, who do they contact? Because
I think,
that email has been sent.
yeah. Do we have that? Do we?
Yeah, it was
I
on the
believe-
slide. It was on an earlier slide.
I
too.
believe that information is also on the Facebook, but if not, they can go to the the
Website?
World Jamboree website, and there are like three dots in the corner. I'll look for the link to the catalog.
All right, Ron, I'm trying to load up you on your questions before you have to leave. So here you go.
Okay.
Do we still put in our IST preference, or are we in the running for a unit leader or unit leader system positions? Sorry, if we are in the running.
So if you applied for the unit for a unit leader position, that you should have already done that. That was a totally separate process. If you are not selected as a unit leader and want to be apply as IST, you should definitely get on the wait list now.
Well, I think the question might be, and that's why we tried to time the unit leader selection so that, if we can get everyone chosen, by the end of June or early July, then if they're not chosen, they still have time to be able to select their IST role.
Right.
All right, Ron, not going to let you off the hook that easily. Shall we purchase travel medical insurance for any personal emergencies?
Insurance, we'll have we've got blanket coverage for our travel as well as with Scouting America. If you wanted to purchase something additional based on your medical, that's left up to you. But for the most part, we are covered with between um, our through our travel agency as well as BSA, or excuse me, Scouting America's coverage.
And now the only unique, I guess, unique one would be if you're putting money down for the tuition for the Jamboree and you have to withdraw, and there's a certain amount of money at different periods that you would lose. That would be something I'm not even sure how you would insure that or things like that. But that would be the only potential
Travel
deviation.
insurance,
Yeah,
personal.
yeah, that's some sort of personal stuff. All right, Ron, here you go. I know
Yep.
you've got about 7 minutes. You're not going to get off too easily. Can we have scouts staying in Poland or within the EU longer, for example, if we wanted to extend our vacation, could we request to modify flight tickets?
Uh, for contingent travel, you will not be able to modify the tickets the tickets that we will purchase as part of the contingent. Um, we will need to know you'll need it. Well, send an email with specific information, whether you're traveling one way or two way, and we will see what we can do to accommodate it. But you will not be able to reuse uh, or rebook a contingent flight. It just doesn't work that way. If we are able to we may be able to give a slight discount of not using a ticket, but unfortunately, especially with one way travel, it's a lot more expensive than round trip. And since we have to book all of these things well in advance, there isn't there won't be a large discount of doing your own travel.
Unless you're
And
both
then,
there for the beginning and the end. But
Exactly.
yeah, but definitely, in that type of situation, a lot of you have reached out. So we're starting to track that. And we will, further ask that probably at the end of August. So before we purchase the tickets, we're going to be like, okay, who's planning to be over in Europe anyway during the summer?
yeah.
And as with anything else, if we're able to save anything on the airfare, we'll pass that along. But this is not, use your own frequent flyer points or something. They have to travel with the contingent unless they're traveling with a family that will be over there anyway. And then you're responsible for getting the scout to the airport that we're going to arrive at, which we won't know for a while. And also responsible for picking up at the end of the jamboree if you're doing both ways.
And then the follow-on question to that would be, can we modify airplane tickets to allow early arrival in Europe? Will contingent meet stateside or in Europe? So
We're
the
gonna,
first part is no, you can't modify the ticket.
yeah, but we are
Yeah,
all
And then this,
we'll all meet in the US, at the different hub cities and fly over.
Okay, one last pre-tour question. Where will we go for the pre-tour? Shimon, you want to kind of take that one?
Yeah, say which one was it?
Where will we go for the pre-tour?
Currently, the plan is we're going to have a 3-day pre-tour, and the starting point will be in Krakow, which is in the southern part of Poland, the original capital of Poland. We're going to be there for 2 days, moving then for the third day to Warsaw, and from Warsaw we're gonna go directly to Gdańsk, and a lot of the that will be in Gdańsk. We will be joining the Jamboree. The reason we're not touring Gdańsk is because those tours are part of the Jamboree itself, so we are not including them in the pre-tour. So those
Perfect.
3 days are gonna be 2 days in Krakow and 1 day in Warsaw or Warszawa,
Thank you.
for those that want to learn how to pronounce it in Polish.
All right, Ron, one more question for you. How can I find what assignment I'm being slotted? So this is for an IST question. I'm current with my payments, but I have seen the list of slots available.
Yeah, at this point, we haven't received from Poland the login process that you will use. So as soon as we get that information, I'll be sending everyone's name to Poland. They will create a login for you, and they will send it back to you. At which point you will then go in and put your preferences in. And I think we talked about earlier that the list of those jobs are available on the Polish website. We'll see if we can get a link to it on our website as well. But yes, it will be done. You will get the request directly from Poland when it's time to fill out that information.
Getting back to the medical insurance coverage, does that include IST as well?
I believe it does.
Yeah, if for while you're participating at the World Jamboree, you are covered for insurance purposes.
All right, Shimon, one more for you as a part A and a part B.
Yes, I saw that. Yes, we will be going to Auschwitz. That's part of the pre-tour, and this is probably going to take most of the first day that we're there. It allows, since this is very somber and an event or visitation. We want to do it the first thing, so the more cheerful part starts afterwards, but not eliminate completely this part, because it's important part of the world history as well.
And then will the IST be included in the pre-tour?
IST is not included in the pre-tour for the simple reason of the IST members having to report to their duties in Gdańsk at different times. So then they will not be traveling with the contingents. However, our travel agency is organizing pre-tours for those who want to do, like come in early for a couple days, but that will be done at the later stages.
Thanks. Okay, this is for Bill or for Ella. We're getting into a little bit of National Jamboree type questions. For the link up, is this both for adults and youth participating at the National Scout Jamboree?
Yep. It is for youth, adults, IST, anybody who's registered to go, JPT. If you're at the Jamboree, you're welcome to join us for the meetups.
Or if you're
And now,
questions about the Jamboree, like you hadn't
Oh,
signed
yeah.
up, you just heard about it,
Yeah.
yeah. So we have one scout. Looks like he'll be going to half of the Jamboree. Will they be able to earn the special edition patch?
So great question. The distribution of the patch will be done on the 28th through 30th. And it is a limited edition, so the people would need to be there during those dates to get the patch.
Now, is it to get the patch or be able to earn the patch, and you can get the patch at a later date? I think the
Um,
gist of the question is because they earn it in half the time and still get awarded it.
so there would be no mechanism in place in order to distribute it to them if they're not there on the distribution dates.
Could
Got it.
somebody else step in as long as they've
You know,
got the
like
sign off?
their scout leader or, someone else, from their unit that might live close to them.
Um,
Or you have to think about it because that's,
TBD.
yeah,
I'll have to
TBD.
look at that. Yeah, because I will just say we were given a limited number and when those are gone, they're gone. So let me take that back to the group and I'll think about how we could do that.
And one more question for that one. For the National Jamboree Spirit Award, how will units be able to donate? Could that be done early?
So a great question. So the app itself is not available till you arrive at the summit. But I will just tell you, if you are interested in doing that, you could do like a pass the hat at a troop meeting before you come to the Jamboree, and then the adult could go to the World Friendship Fund and actually do the donation and keep your receipt, and you can click it then. So if you want to do it
Perfect.
early, we wanted to actually be able to send messages to everybody ahead of time, but that was not something that was available to us.
One more question. It's kind of a little bit the same. How might I go to the meetup if he's on OA staff for Jambo?
If it depends on what your work schedule is. So if you are scheduled to work, unfortunately, that would take priority. But two of them are for 3 hours. So we're hoping that most people can make one of those two for sure.
Okay. I accidentally goofed down a question. Will participants need Polish currency during pre-tour?
Most
I mean,
likely not, because here's the thing. Poland just basically moved to the cashless society in most of the things, and you can use you can use your ATM cards in the Polish ATM to get money from Polish money. B, you can use your phone or your smartwatch to pay directly. They have majority of the places, even small ones, have the terminals that allow you to do that. So unless you want to buy something in like the craft market where those people don't have terminals, in like small stands, you will not need Polish currency. But if there is a need, we will handle it as needed, because the availability is basically for the ATM to withdraw from your US account directly into the Polish currency, into zlotys.
Perfect. Based on the number of scouts that have signed up to date, how many units are we planning to send in 2027? What is our goal?
right now, 14. So 504 participant positions. And like I said, we're down to less than 10 spots left. So yeah, 14 units, which would mean 56 leader positions.
Two fundraising questions. How can we contribute to the scholarship fund to help scouts attend the World Scout Jamboree?
Send me an email, the USA Poland 2027 at gmail.com. We have the form created, so I'll get that out to people, and also we'll put that out on the website. That might take a couple of days, but we do have an address to be able to send it, or a link to be able to make the payment. And thank you, by the way, because that, like I said, we really want to make this accessible to as many people as possible.
One more fundraising question. Are we allowed to go to businesses to request individual sponsorship, even though national prohibits us from doing that?
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, where the payment comes in credited to your account. So
Okay, Shimon, could you recommend an app or computer program to practice speaking Polish?
Um, There are, you see all the ones that are out there are pretty good. The one that I've used, well, it's expensive, but Rosetta Stone is a very good part. But there are online apps, and I think there are some. I think I use the translator, which allows you to speak English and it speaks out in Polish. So you can use that to practice how to say basic phrases. It's not something that will allow you to be conversational, but at least you will learn a few basic phrases that you can use in Poland.
Duolingo is another one that's pretty
Yeah.
popular, and
Yes.
and you could get a free version of that one.
Yeah. There's, like I said, there's a lot of different ones. I'm probably the last person to recommend any of them.
You're going to be our translator anyway.
Yes.
All right, two more quick money questions. Are we allowed to set up a GoFundMe site? And I think that goes kind of back to what Bill said beforehand.
Yeah.
I've seen them out there already.
Yeah.
Can IST apply for scholarships?
Not at this point. No, we're keeping it for participants.
With cashless, will phone charging be available?
Phone charging? Yes.
Yes,
At the Jamboree
lots
site,
of it.
yes. Yeah. It's a challenge. I mean, there's usually limited places that they keep it secure. So we'll find out more when we're over there in July. But over in Korea, you had a certain time you could go. You brought all the phones, you had it locked up, and then you came back, like an hour later or 2 hours later, and picked them up. So, but batteries drain very quickly over there. So there's a lot of times when the phone's dead, before you can get back up to get it charged again. So that is a challenge. So if you have any Mofis or anything like that, that definitely helps.
So with that in mind, I would recommend getting, the power bank as a backup, just in case the phone dies. At least you can charge it up until you can use the plugins. So that's something that I would recommend for scouts and adults as well to grab as an emergency backup.
Getting more of the technology, Shimon, will information or advice be made available on how to arrange cell phone connectivity in Poland?
Cell phone, well, I'm not sure how to answer that question, because cell phones are available, of course, in Poland as well. In terms of data connectivity, the only one that I know that has a free data and texting in Poland is T-Mobile, because they offer that worldwide. The other ones like AT&T or Verizon, you have to buy international pack for a certain
Correct.
number of days. But it is widely available, and it's something that I would recommend, especially for communicating with your participants, because they can use, for example, WhatsApp phone function to give you a call. That way they don't have to use the minutes that are associated with international calling plans, and those minutes are expensive, because if you have a data plan and call through the WhatsApp, you're not using those minutes, and you're not paying per minute for the phone calls.
Ellen, Bill, I've got a couple unit development questions. If we were recruited by a specific council that is sending a contingent, will we be put in with that unit, or do we decide where our scout will get assigned?
So the process would go with first of all, unit type. So like if someone says, I want to be in a single female unit, and your council doesn't have anybody else who wants a single female, then probably you won't be with them. If you choose mixed gender or no preference, we would always go to geographic location. So I'm assuming first council, you would be in the same unit. it would also be great on your survey to put that as I want to be in, fill in the council group. But this is a contingent level, just so as a reminder, it's not a council event. This is a Scouting America contingent.
Yeah, there are no council units that are
Yeah.
going. So again, I mean, it's 14, there's 50 states. So, there'll be multiple states, in each unit.
The next question relating to unit formation is, if we did get the May 1st email regarding the unit selection process and asking for specific placement, how do we get that email?
Have to email, well, send it to me, USA, Poland 2027 at gmail.com, and I'll forward it on to Ron. Make sure that you get that.
Perfect. Okay. And will the units, once formed, be meeting in person and therefore require travel? So I'm presuming this is before any type of shakedown weekends or other type of activities.
So obviously, we'll have to take a look to see the geographic locations of the units. If you're in a female unit or a male unit, that could be much more spread out, than a mixed unit. So there will be some in-person meetings, but that's really at the discretion of the unit leader and what they want to put together. So I know like last time in Korea, my whole troop was, half in Seattle, half in San Francisco. So they met up locally, never met as a whole unit, so we'll be trying to do the same thing. And also units, like let's say there's a cluster that's fairly close together, a couple of clusters, and there's some other people that might be in a single gender unit that can't meet with the rest of them. They'll invite them to come and at least meet up with others. So even if they're not in the same unit, we'll try to make sure that people get the opportunity to meet each other, which again is why we're taking advantage of the National Jamboree and having 100 people down there. That'll be part of the 1,000 that we'll have going over. So you get a chance to meet each other as well.
And one more question, getting back to the phone and general and electronic. Will there be normal charging stations, or do we need a different charging port in order to use the stations?
You will not need it'll just be a plug-in. It won't be like you don't need an adapter or anything. So just take your USB port and put it in that way.
Okay. All right, now we have a couple questions regarding the actual units. So can families get a day pass to visit during the World Jamboree?
Yes, they can. Those dates have not been set yet, but there will be a cost to it. But that will be if we hear anything about it, we'll pass that along to everybody. But there will be availability. It won't be for every day that we're over there, but it'll probably be for most of the days. And they may have a cap on it as well. So especially being in Europe, very accessible for a lot of people. So as soon as we hear anything, we'll get that out to people.
When will youth elections be for the World Jamboree? Also, will it be similar to the U.S. troop formatting?
So when will the elections be? Is that what the question is?
Yeah, so my guess is that just like you create a unit troop for National Jamboree or another activity, youth unit leaders are elected from their peers. Is there a timeline when that would happen, or is that more dependent upon each scoutmaster and their assistants and how they set up their troop?
Yep. So as a commissioner, I'll talk to that. So there's a variety of ways that can be done. I know in my units, the youth chose to wait, and people who were interested in being a leader each had an opportunity to lead an activity for our virtual meetings so that people got to know them. Others voted for their leaders very shortly into the process. So, but it will be a youth selection process, but always with the unit leader approval.
Yeah, it will depend on the unit leader, but we are going to have a unit leader and contingent management team meet up in October. So get as many people there as in person. So we'll be going over a lot of these different formation issues. So my sense is that they probably would not be picking leaders before October anyway. Picking youth leaders, that is.
When are the meetups at National Scout Jamboree scheduled, and where will the sessions be?
All right, Katie, those will be in the app. Because right now I'm working on securing space, but David Baden-Powell will be on the morning of the 24th from 8 to 11 a.m. in the Tillerson building in the Perot building or Perot room. The meetup with our CMT team will be on July 30th, also 8 to 11 a.m. in the Perot room and the Tillerson building. That's in the Summit Center. And the 365 days and counting is on July 23rd, and it is just for 1 hour, 4 to 5 p.m. and the Duty to God and Country tent. And so those are the three main ones, but there's a lot of other activities associated with the International Spirit Award. So when you get the app, you'll see all the details.
Thank you. Are there any special things for OA members while at Jamboree? I'm going to presume that's the World Jamboree.
Yep. So as many of us know, NOAC is going on at the same time, and I'm working with the shows group to see if we can project like a meetup group like they did in 2015 in Japan. So details to come.
Perfect. If we have family friends in Poland, would it be possible to see them at any point in the pre-tour?
No,
Probably not.
we will
Yeah,
have the full calendar of events, and we'll be traveling by bus. Each unit's going to be in the bus. No, there's not really going to be a free time, so to speak. So I doubt that it will be possible. So I think the best way for the friends and family, the Polish friends and family, to meet with them would be the day passes to the Jamboree.
But you can send me an email about it, and we'll think about it. But
Yeah.
it's and for security reasons, we're not going to be releasing where we're going to be staying or anything.
Correct.
So, but for family members, send me an email. We'll see if we can come up with something.
Yep.
But it would be difficult, so no promises on it.
And we have a couple unit leader selections and questions relating to the October session. If selected as a unit leader, how long is the unit leader meetup in Texas? Actually, let me ask the first question first. When is the unit leader get together in Texas in October?
It's the first weekend of October, so we've
Third
asked
and
people.
fourth.
Yeah, ask people to come in on that Friday. We'll be meeting all day Saturday and probably early Sunday morning, so people can fly home Sunday afternoon.
Okay, that just cleared out like a bunch of them. That's perfect. Well done. Well done, guys. I'm just trying to clear these things out real fast. This is wonderful. Okay, if you're not going to the National Jamboree, could you still earn the Spirit Award?
You can earn the regular International Spirit Award, but this limited edition one is only for people who are at the Jamboree.
There you go. And if you're selected as an adult leader, will you be wearing the Scouting America uniform or the crew uniform?
It depends what you have, I guess. We'll leave it at that. I know, yeah, people did. It's really whatever uniform you happen to have.
Or to follow.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, outside of the posters and brochures that have been posted on Facebook, are there any banners or signage similar to that can be ordered for fundraising tables?
We do not have, it's basically everything that we have has been made available on Facebook to people that want to use it. So we don't have anything special for that purpose. But if you have any needs, please send me an email, and I will see if we can conjure something for your specific needs.
Yeah, because Shimon can send to the design that then you can put on something.
Correct.
Yep.
All right, Ella. Here's
All
here's
right.
your moment of
Yeah,
awesomeness.
it's well, it's Audie the otter.
Oh. Audie,
And
O-T-T-I,
O
or
O O D D I
oh,
E
oh, okay.
otter, Otter. So say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
yeah,
There you
and
go.
that the name just to explain why it's called Oddi, Odde. It comes from the Polish word odwaga, which is brave,
Mm.
and that's why it was selected as the mascot.
Thank you, Shimon. I didn't know that piece of it, so that's cool.
There you go.
And by the way, I just Googled that.
I'm about to
Oh,
say, I'm about to say, Shimon, you pulled that one out really, really well. That's
that was
impressive.
that was an A+ answer. And I have a question. Is there a Polish pronunciation
Of what? Of
of
the
Audie or otter, either one?
Yeah, otter in Polish is Wydra, and but Audi is just Audi.
Okay.
There we go. All right, guys. Oh, hang on, man. Will there be an opportunity to put a patch design together for the contingent? The answer is it already has been. So we are in the final process of getting it approved by Scouting America, making sure that all the branding for the World Jamboree and also the national requirements are satisfied. We are in the final process of getting those things confirmed at national as we speak. What you see in the corner of our backgrounds is what the U.S. patch will look like, one of them at least. Great
But
question.
each unit will also design their own patch.
Yes.
So,
Just like
So
we did
that
for South Korea.
yep.
yeah. So that will be an opportunity for your creative flow.
Yep.
Perfect. All right, folks, that's it. So Bill, if you have anything else you wanted to add, the mic is all yours.
Okay. Well, thank you all for joining. We had over 100 people on this call. We had over 100 people on the prior call. So obviously, as we're less than 14 months ago, there is a lot of excitement, and we're looking forward to a lot of hard work over the next year plus to make this the best, safest jamboree for everybody. So thank you for putting your trust in us. It's going to be an incredible experience, life-changing, and like I said, we're committed to make it a great time, a great safe time for everybody. So thank you for joining us. If you have any other questions, please feel free to continue to email me and we'll get back to you. Have a great night or good morning if you're over and watching this in Europe. So, thank you.